Good morning, it's Vlogmas day 9, and I just had a slice of this bread that I made. It's a whole wheat and flax meal bread. First time I'd ever tried the recipe, and it actually turned out quite delicious. I just had a slice with some avocado on it, but I was a little bit concerned just because it seemed like a very short, small loaf. It didn't seem to rise as much. I was wondering if maybe my yeast hadn't activated, but I think now that it's done, I think it's just supposed to be this way because the texture was quite nice. I expected it to be dense, but it didn't seem like it didn't do what it was supposed to. It tasted like a whole wheat flax meal bread should. And I had made it into 2 loaves here, and they're small, which I think is good because I think I'm going to pop the other one in the freezer and eat what's left of this over the next couple of days. I don't know. I'm not so good at making bread, but I think this one turned out all right. I definitely didn't need quite as much flour on the pan because that flour just started to burn, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna set off my smoke detector. And so I preemptively took it down from the ceiling and set it on the bed, and that's back up now, just if you're concerned about my safety. But yep, made some bread. And then I went out and I grabbed a bus and headed out to do some shopping. When I had my Instacart order delivered earlier this week, they didn't have a couple of the items at that store that I wanted, and so I went a little bit farther to a different grocery store to pick up those items. And as you can see, the city is still nicely blanketed in that snow, and we were expecting some rain in the afternoon. As we passed the canal here, I'm seeing in the video clip I took, we were expecting some rain. But as I'm putting this together at about 11 o'clock in the evening, we never did get that rain, and it's looking like we might not, which will be nice because that means this snow will stick around a while longer. And it was just beautiful looking out the windows here in this more wooded area along the transit way, and I didn't catch it on video, but at one point coming back, my bus actually had to stop to let 2 wild turkeys cross the road, which was the first time I've ever seen wild turkeys within the city limits of Ottawa. But it's not too unusual for wildlife to wander into the city limits, just given how sprawling the city of Ottawa is and how much sort of wilderness, and I put wilderness in air quotes, how much wilderness there still is within the city limits. And this is a really pretty shot here because all the snow is still clinging to the tree branches. And so I went out to the store because I wanted to get one of the items that was missing from my grocery order this week, and that was these green onion pancakes, and I got 2 of them just because they're just about my favorite thing right now. And the other store, I guess, was out, so I had to go get them in person from a store farther away. So I'm getting ready to go out for the evening. I've got a concert at NAC, at the National Arts Centre. It is the NAC Orchestra doing the soundtrack to Home Alone, and I think the idea is the movie is going to be projected up on the screen and the orchestra is going to be playing, of course, to accompany the film. And I've never been to anything like this before at NAC, so we'll see how it is. I think they do something similar every year with a Christmas film. And I ended up seated right in the front row, and I took a picture of the orchestra chairs and the screen before they came on to the stage. It's forbidden to film during the actual production, but I took a few shots on my phone before things got started, and I had a mocktail, a non-alcoholic gin and tonic. And when I went outside afterwards, this is footage from just outside the National Arts Centre, all the lights on the trees were lit up in a mixture of blue, green and purple, which is just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And you can't see it here, but around the corner on Parliament Hill, there's a nightly light show in the month of December. And I might go later on in the month and get some footage of that. I just wasn't going to go wandering down that way at 10:30 at night. I just thought it was best to stay outside the National Arts Centre and then take my transportation home rather than wandering about in the dark. But this is absolutely a beautiful area in downtown Ottawa near the War Memorial, the National Arts Centre, and the big castle-looking building is the Chateau Laurier Hotel. And that's all for Vlogmas today.